You know what's fascinating about life? It's not the grand, sweeping gestures that transform us. It's not the dramatic New Year's resolutions or the massive overhauls we promise ourselves we'll make someday. No, the real magic happens in the small, almost invisible actions you take every single day. The micro habits that seem so insignificant in the moment, yet compound into something absolutely extraordinary over the course of a year. Think about it. A year from now, you could be living a completely different life. Not because you made one huge change, but because you made dozens of tiny ones. And here's the beautiful part, you don't need superhuman willpower. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to understand the power of starting small and staying consistent. The compound effect of tiny actions. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you have two paths in front of you. On one path, you improve by just 1% every single day. On the other, you decline by 1% daily. After a year, you won't be just 365% better or worse. Because of the compound effect, you'll be nearly 38 times better on one path, or almost down to zero on the other. That's the mathematical reality of microhabits. They multiply. They accumulate. They transform. But here's what most people miss, they're looking for the big wins. They want to see results tomorrow, next week, or next month. And when those dramatic changes don't materialize immediately, they give up. They don't realize that the beginning is always invisible. The transformation is happening beneath the surface, like roots growing deep before the tree breaks through the soil. You're standing at the beginning of your own transformation right now. And the question isn't whether you're capable of massive change. You absolutely are. The question is, are you willing to think smaller than you've ever thought before? The 2-minute rule. Let's start with something revolutionary in its simplicity. If you want to build a new habit, scale it down to something you can do in 2 minutes or less. Want to read more? Don't commit to reading for an hour. Commit to reading 1 page. Want to get fit? Don't promise yourself you'll work out for an hour every day. Promise yourself you'll do 10 push-ups. This isn't about setting the bar low. This is about understanding human psychology. When you make the habit so easy that you can't say no, you remove the friction. You eliminate the excuses. And more importantly, you show up. Because here's the secret, showing up is 80% of the battle. When you read that 1 page, you'll often read 5 more. When you do those 10 push-ups, you'll frequently do an entire workout. But even if you don't, even if you only do the minimum, you're still winning. You're proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who shows up. You're building identity, not just changing behavior. Over a year, reading just 1 page a day means you'll read at least 365 pages. That's more than most people read in several years. Those 10 push-ups daily. That's 3,650 push-ups. Your body will change. Your strength will multiply. All from 2 minutes a day. The power of morning rituals. Your morning sets the tone for your entire day. But I'm not going to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate for an hour. Instead, I want you to consider what 3 microhabits could shift your morning from chaotic to intentional. Maybe it's making your bed immediately after you wake up. This single action, taking less than 2 minutes, creates a small win that triggers a cascade of positive decisions. You've already accomplished something before you've even brushed your teeth. You've created order from disorder. And when you come home at the end of a long day, you'll return to a room that feels peaceful, not chaotic. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing. Before coffee, before checking your phone, before anything else. Your body has been without water for 6 to 8 hours. This simple act rehydrates you, jumpstarts your metabolism, and signals to your brain that you're taking care of yourself. Over a year, this becomes 365 glasses of water that your body desperately needed, improving your energy, skin, digestion, and mental clarity. Or perhaps it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Not typing them. Writing them. This takes less than 2 minutes, but it rewires your brain to look for the good in your life. Over 365 days, you'll have documented nearly 1,100 blessings. Your default mental state will shift from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to appreciation. These aren't just habits. They're identity statements. You become someone who creates order. Someone who prioritizes health. Someone who chooses gratitude. The micro-habit of learning. Here's a truth that might sting a little: most people stop learning the moment they graduate from school. They coast on what they already know, and then they wonder why life feels stagnant. But you don't have to be most people. What if you committed to learning just one new thing every day? Not mastering it. Not becoming an expert. Just learning one small piece of information, one skill, one concept. This could be listening to a 10-minute podcast on your commute. It could be watching one educational video while you eat lunch. It could be reading one article before bed. Let me tell you what happens in a year. You'll have consumed 365 pieces of new information. Your brain will have formed new neural pathways. Your perspective will have expanded in ways you can't even imagine right now. You'll be able to hold more interesting conversations. You'll solve problems more creatively. You'll see opportunities that others miss. But more than that, you'll become a person who is always growing. Always evolving. Always curious. In a world where most people stay stuck, you'll be moving forward every single day. The habit of connection. We live in the most connected era in human history, yet people feel more isolated than ever. But here's a micro-habit that can change everything: reach out to one person every day. Send a text to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Write a genuine comment on someone's social media post. Call a family member just to say hello. Send an email to someone who's influenced you, thanking them. Leave a kind note for your partner or roommate. This takes 3 minutes, maximum. But over a year, you'll have made 365 meaningful connections. You'll have strengthened existing relationships and built new ones. You'll have reminded people that they matter. And here's what happens when you do this consistently: people remember you. They think of you. They want to help you. They become your champions. Your network isn't just about career advancement. It's about belonging. It's about community. It's about knowing that you're not alone in this world. One message a day creates a web of connection that will support you in ways you can't predict. The financial micro-habit. Money doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the most powerful financial habit is incredibly simple: save 1% of your income automatically before you see it. Just 1%. If you make $3,000 a month, that's $30. You won't miss it. But over a year, that's $360 in savings. And here's what's beautiful: once that habit is established, you can increase it. From 1% to 2%. Then 3%. Before you know it, you're saving 10% without even thinking about it. But it's not really about the money, at least not at first. It's about becoming someone who values their future self. Someone who doesn't spend every dollar that comes in. Someone who creates margin in their life. Over a year, you'll have built both a financial cushion and a new identity as someone who makes wise financial choices. Pair this with another micro-habit: before making any purchase over $50, wait 24 hours. That's it. Just wait. This simple pause will prevent countless impulse purchases. Over a year, you'll save hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars. More importantly, you'll become more intentional about what you bring into your life. The health multiplication effect. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. You just need to add one healthy element to one meal per day. Maybe it's adding vegetables to your lunch. Maybe it's replacing one soda with water. Maybe it's eating an apple with breakfast. This feels almost too small to matter, doesn't it? But watch what happens. That one healthy choice makes the next healthy choice easier. When you've already eaten vegetables at lunch, you're more likely to choose a healthier dinner. When you've had water instead of soda once, you're more likely to make that choice again. Over a year, that one healthy addition to one meal becomes a pattern. It becomes who you are. And those benefits compound. Your energy increases. Your sleep improves. Your mood stabilizes. Your body starts to crave the foods that nourish it rather than the ones that harm it. Pair this with movement. Not exercise, movement. Take the stairs once a day instead of the elevator. Park at the far end of the parking lot. Stand up and stretch every hour. Walk around the block after dinner. These aren't workouts. They're just moments of movement woven into your day. But over 365 days, you'll have climbed thousands of stairs, walked dozens of miles, burned thousands of extra calories. Your cardiovascular health will improve. Your muscles will strengthen. Your joints will stay flexible. All for microhabits that take virtually no time and require no gym membership. The creative consistency habit. You have ideas. Brilliant ones. But they die in your mind because you never capture them. Here's your microhabit. Spend 5 minutes at the end of each day writing down one thought, one idea, one observation. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be polished. It just has to exist outside your head. Maybe you keep a journal by your bed. Maybe you use a notes app on your phone. The medium doesn't matter. The consistency does. Over a year, you'll have 365 entries. That's a book's worth of your thoughts. Your ideas. Your evolution. You'll be able to look back and see how you've grown, what patterns emerge, what themes matter to you. But more than that, you'll have trained your brain to be observant. To notice. To think. To create. Some of those entries will be mundane. Many will be forgettable. But scattered throughout will be gems. Ideas that could change your career. Insights that could heal relationships. Observations that could become art, or businesses, or movements. The subtraction habit. Sometimes the most powerful microhabit isn't about adding something. It's about removing something. Every day, eliminate one small thing that doesn't serve you. Delete one app you waste time on. Unsubscribe from one email list that clutters your inbox. Remove one item from your home that you don't use or love. Say no to one commitment that drains your energy. Skip one complaint you were about to voice. This feels like nothing, doesn't it? But over a year, you'll have removed 365 things that were creating friction in your life. Your phone will contain only apps that add value. Your email inbox will be manageable. Your home will feel spacious and intentional. Your calendar will reflect your true priorities. Your mind will be clearer because you've stopped reinforcing negative thought patterns. You'll have created space. And space is where transformation happens. Space for new opportunities. Space for peace. Space for growth. The evening wind down. Your evening routine is just as important as your morning one. But again, we're thinking small. Choose one microhabit that signals to your body and mind that the day is ending. Maybe it's turning off all screens 30 minutes before bed. Maybe it's laying out your clothes for tomorrow. Maybe it's reflecting on one win from the day, no matter how small. Maybe it's stretching for 5 minutes. This creates a boundary between the chaos of the day and the rest you need at night. Over a year, you'll sleep better. You'll wake up feeling more restored. You'll have better mental health. You'll be more productive during the day because you're actually recovering at night. The identity shift. Here's what's really happening when you commit to microhabits. You're not just changing what you do. You're changing who you are. Every time you show up for that 2-minute habit, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Want to be a reader? Read 1 page daily. Want to be a writer? Write 1 sentence daily. Want to be fit? Move your body for 5 minutes daily. Want to be financially secure? Save 1% daily. Want to be connected? Reach out to one person daily. The habit is the evidence. Your identity emerges from your actions, not the other way around. You don't need to believe you're a reader before you start reading. You become a reader by reading. The identity follows the behavior. Your year from now. Imagine yourself 12 months from today. You've read over 365 pages. You've done over 3,650 push-ups. You've saved hundreds of dollars. You've made 365 meaningful connections. You've learned 365 new things. You've created space by removing 365 sources of friction. You've documented 365 days of thoughts and ideas. You've added thousands of healthy choices to your life. Who is that person? How do they feel? How do they move through the world? What opportunities have opened up for them? What confidence do they carry? What peace do they possess? That person exists. They're not fantasy. They're not out of reach. They're just on the other side of small, consistent action. The starting point. You don't need to implement all of these habits today. In fact, please don't. That's the old way of thinking. The way that leads to burnout and giving up. Instead, choose one. Just one micro habit that resonates with you. Something so small that you can't fail. Something that takes 2 minutes or less. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it the day after that. Don't track a streak. Don't create pressure. Just show up. Miss a day? Fine. Show up the next day. The goal isn't perfection. It's direction. And then, once that habit is so automatic that you don't even think about it anymore, add another one. Then another. Building slowly, sustainably, powerfully. You're not going to transform your life overnight. But you are going to transform it. One small action at a time. One day at a time. One micro habit at a time. Until one day, you'll look back at where you started and barely recognize that version of yourself. The power is in the tiny. The transformation is in the consistent. The magic is in the mundane. Your massive life change doesn't begin with a massive action. It begins right now, with the smallest step you can possibly take. So what will your first micro habit be? Choose it. Start it today. And watch what happens when you give small actions enough time to become something extraordinary.